Hey everyone, how's it going? Elliot here again. Today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Retro Game 300. This is something that a lot of you have been asking me to do. This is a $50 handheld, pretty expensive. Obviously, we've just had the release of the LDK and the Pocket Go. I'm a big fan of these horizontal style ones. Both of these had a lot of perks. Unfortunately, they also had a lot of cons as well. The Pocket Go had a lot of screen tear and sort of refresh issues. And the LDK, the screen wasn't fantastic. They were using a technology that wasn't very good for retro games and stuff. So here we have the Retro Game 300. I'll put the specs up on the screen right now. It's pretty average. It does compare quite similarly to the LDK and the Pocket Go. So without any further waffle, let's go ahead and take a look at the box. So it said super tempered glass, so that is right. We're going to be having a glass screen lens, which is actually something that we saw on the Pocket Go, which was a very nice feature. Makes the whole thing feel a little bit higher quality. We've got an Omron shoulder button. I don't know why they're calling it that, but it's just probably to make it sound a little bit cooler. We've got a few squiggles. I don't know why they're there, but they are. On the side, we have 3-inch screen. It says 3 by 320 by 480, which I think is the resolution, but I'm pretty certain it's a much higher resolution than that. External 1,800 milliamp hour battery, which apparently is claiming to give it 6 hours of battery life, which is pretty much exactly the same as those two. Super tempered glass screen. It supports arcade games, so that's going to be the Capcom titles and some Neo Geo, GBA, Super Famicom, SNES, Sega plus Famicom. So basically everything that these can do, all the retro systems. It probably even do PS1. Ultra large capacity. It comes with a 16 gigabyte onboard SD card, and you can just plug it into your computer and put the ROM straight onto that, or you can also add your own SD card with expandable storage up to 256 gig, I think. Music playing, picture, browse, and ebook. All the things we don't care about. Console, AV cable, charging cable, user manual. This is the grey one, but they also made a white and a blue transparent and a black transparent, although I haven't seen those. And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. So let's take a look inside. Quite exciting times. This one is the nicest looking one, in my opinion. They based it sort of off of the Super Nintendo with those color buttons and that little sort of grey circle there. So it looks very, very nice. I'm actually not too against these sort of portrait designed consoles. I do like the landscape ones just because I think they're a little bit more comfortable to hold, but this one has really ergonomically shaped shoulder buttons, which actually sits in the hand very, very nicely. The battery is in here. It's a very large battery. For once, we're not actually seeing a Nokia clone battery. In fact, it may be a Nokia clone battery, although it's not the same as these ones. It's saying that it's a BP5L. You might be able to find those around as a replacement, 3.7 volts. Not a lot else to say about that. And there's the storage there, the onboard storage, so you can take that out and flash it and whatnot. There is a custom firmware out for this already. That is our power indicator, a very weird place to put a power indicator, but it is there nonetheless. And the general build quality is pretty much the same as we've experienced. Not super high quality, not super low quality, but just pretty average. USB-C on the bottom, which I think is very, very nice, and headphone and also AV for video. And we've got the AV cable in there and also the USB-C cable. And just as that was turning on there, quick look at the manual. It's not going to have anything in here which we really care about. Please don't use and store this machine, especially in a swimming pool, bathroom, or kitchen. That's right, folks. Playing this in your swimming pool isn't a great idea. It's exactly the same retro FW firmware as we've seen before, so nothing that's going to surprise us here. I think there's only a few replacement sort of themes, like skins in here as well. If we go into here and have a look, we've got yeah, just a few. So we'll keep it on the standard one. Let's just get straight into the emulation. I think all of this stuff is exactly as we know it. There's nothing here which has changed at all. As I said, you can put a new firmware on this if you so wish. So I think what we'll start off with is Super Nintendo, just because if it can run Super Nintendo well, it's going to set a pretty good bar for everything else. Super Nintendo is something that's often not emulated very well, so yeah, my hopes are high. The screen looks fantastic, actually. The colors are really, really good. The viewing angles are pretty good. They only go a little bit dark when you sort of get it just beyond a reasonable point that you'd ever actually play it at. Yeah, so let's go ahead and play it. It's going to store, you know, the memory of your games on here. It's got different save states. To access that, you can just press this menu button here, and you've got save state there, and you can just choose your slot to save it in, and just like that, it's saved. And then you go over to load, press A, and you're back exactly where you were. The buttons are very, very comfortable. Some of the other consoles that we've seen have included a little analog stick. I don't personally feel the need for one of those. So yeah, so far this is running very, very nice. There's absolutely no screen tear at all. If I can hopefully show you this. None at all. You can see that everything's loading in very, very smoothly, which is very relieving. Yeah, this looks fantastic. I would say that the colors are a little bit dark. I don't know if that's just me. We'll have a look at against the LDK in a second, but it feels like the colors are a little bit darker than usual. They're not quite as vibrant. That might just be me cracking up, I'm not sure. Yeah, that works very, very well. I'm going to load it up on the LDK and see what the colors are like. So yeah, actually the colors on the LDK are much, much better. Huge difference. I'm not sure why the screen is so dark on the other one. It's not necessarily the screen brightness. It's just like the color temperature is, I don't know, lower or higher, but it just definitely doesn't quite look as vibrant. Hopefully I'll be able to show you a side-by-side on the screen right now. But yeah, something to note, not sure why that is. The screen tear on here is a little bit more obvious. It's nowhere near as bad as the Pocket Go, but it's definitely fun to know that we're actually getting there. So the next one to play is going to be Sonic the Hedgehog. The colors again on this just don't quite look as vibrant as I'd hope. Really not sure why this is happening. It's definitely not something that I've seen before on any of the other ones. The colors just don't quite pop as much. That being said, the screen quality is absolutely excellent. So yeah, Sega Mega Drive works very well. The emulation is fantastic. The sound sounds very, very accurate and authentic to the original. Just the colors again, a little bit questionable. Not really sure what's happening here. Maybe there's a fault in my unit. The brightness is up fully, but it just seems so lacking. I'm really not sure what's going on with that at all. But yeah, emulation works very well. It seems with these things that you know, one thing will work very, very well on each one, but then there's always something just to let it down. Like the Pocket Go was cheap and very well built, but the screen let it down. You know, I'm really not sure why we can't just get an absolutely flawless one. I guess we're still waiting for that without spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds, but yeah. Okay, so the next thing we're going to take a look at is Game Boy Advance. I've got it set to the original aspect ratio. We'll play that for a little bit and then I'll fill this screen and we can have a look at the full screen version. But I just like playing it at the authentic you know, screen resolution. This looks stunning. Let's put it to full screen, but that is absolutely insane. That really is very well done. It's so smooth. That is very impressive. It is very smooth. You know what, I'd go as far as to say that this is a nicer experience than playing it on a Game Boy Advance SP. Maybe a GBA with a you know, a 101 screen in there or the IPS display. It probably wouldn't stack up to that, but the ergonomics of this thing is super comfortable. The L and R buttons are working a treat. In fact, I didn't even think about them, which is how seamless they are. Very nice. Very impressed with the Game Boy Advance emulation. Let's take a look at one more Game Boy Advance game with a potential to get some more screen tear. Okay, so here is Super Mario Bros. 4. What we're hoping to do with this, as it's a sort of side scroller, is see if there's any screen tear. Now, I'm not really going to be able to see that until I go back through the footage and edit it, but from what I can see, it looks pretty good. Yeah, I can't see any screen tear on this at all. It does look very good. Again, we do have a little bit of a color issue, which I'm really unsure about. I feel like I need to have a look at some of the other people's reviews and just see if it was my unit or not. One thing that definitely has to be said about this is the emulation, the sounds and everything is very good, very accurate. The speed all seems to be very authentic as well, which is nice. It really just does seem to be the colors that are letting this down the most, the sort of the brightness and the colors as a mix. The screen just looks very bland, it's not popping quite as much. To be honest, it could be a placebo effect that the LDK's contrast is really high, and so therefore the colors are a bit like sort of unauthentically brighter. I'm not really 100% sure. I'm gonna wait to hear your guys' feedback on that. But let's go ahead and take a look at some more games. So the final thing for us to look at in order to see this thing's ability to emulate is gonna be Neo Geo. I'm quite excited to see how well this runs. This is actual Neo Geo emulation. This is not like a Neo Geo Pocket. The volume on this thing is very loud. However, it sort of goes from 0 to 100 quite quickly. If I show you here, that is me just ever so slightly feathering that volume. That's about as low as you can get it. Any less and it goes off. Very sensitive. More sensitive than my stepmother. So yeah, let's take a look at this then. Well, I died. But that was a bloody good experience. Wow, that is very good. The buttons are slightly strangely matte on here. The A button is not the A button. But yeah, that is very good. Let's take a look at a different Neo Geo game. The actual like pixel density is very good. The screen quality is very high. Obviously, there is the problem with the colors and the brightness that I was talking about before, but in terms of the actual quality of the screen, it's very good. I don't really know what's going on here. Hey. Oh wait, did I win? No, that was me getting knocked out. Yes, was that me? No, I don't know what's going on. Who's winning? Oh wait, no, she's winning. Time's up. Okay, well at least I didn't get knocked out. Oh, but she won. Fantastic. So to summarize then, for the RG300, it's a very nice unit. It's a little bit sort of more blocky in terms of its design all around the edges, but it has to be said, it's very comfortable to hold, especially with those Om-Nom, or whatever they are. In fact, I think Om-Nom's the name of that cut the rope character, but it's very ergonomic and from the perspective of these shoulder buttons, and that really does give you the grip for the rest of the gaming experience. So yeah, a very nice little thing. As with all of these things, as I mentioned earlier, they have all of their pros, but then there's still a bunch of cons, and we're not quite there yet with a perfect console. So if you're still waiting to find the perfect console, I think we're still probably a couple months away from that. Obviously, I'm going to keep you updated with all of the new ones coming out. They do take a while to get down. They literally this one took about 2 weeks. It was $50. I'll leave the link to it in the description below if you want to check it out. Let me know what you think. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.